folks, we are here. It is the greatest racing day weekend this week. It is episode number 15 of the Burnt Rubber Racing Podcast, the Graham Rahal episode, and because Henry wanted to put it in there, also the, what do you call him, the COTA iRacing champ, James Davison.
It's not a lie, is it?
No,
I think that win, driving that 15 for Rick Ware Racing on the iRacing course. Hey,
I didn't get to see the race, but yeah, I mean,
me either.
I mean, yeah, that's apparently he won. I guess he's pretty good at road racing, but we also have our guest Marty Czekala of the Rochester Sports Network. How you doing today, Marty?
I'm doing good, Zach. Doing good. Hank, thanks for having me on the show. It's a pleasure to be on. I know Zach was on my podcast or on my racing show yesterday, RS and Trackside. We're glad we had you on yesterday. So I'm glad to be a part of the Burnt Rubber Racing Podcast today. Gonna be fun talking some racing with you guys.
Yeah, and if you want to go back and watch it, it's the RSN Trackside Facebook, I believe.
Yep.
We had a fun time talking NASCAR and all sorts of different stuff, especially coming into this weekend. Let's before we get into today's show, we don't forget Sunday we have our greatest race day pre-show at 10:30 on the Trainwreck Sports streaming with on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook. Well, no, not Facebook, YouTube. Excuse me. We are kicked off Facebook as of now. I think we should just get into it. Anything you guys want to add before we get into it?
I'm all good. Let's have a little bit of fun here.
That's a loaded show. We got a guest in tow, so I'm excited to break this down with you. Big weekend ahead. Let's do it.
All right. COTA last week. Where do we want to begin? Do we begin with the rain on that started, or the rain that ended?
Marty, I'm gonna let you go first because I don't think anyone wants to hear my negativity about COTA right out of the gate. So it's all you. Maybe you'll be a little more positive.
So I talked a little bit about this on the show yesterday, and we can race in the rain. It's fine. However, though, when the rain is heavy, like we saw at Circuit of the Americas, no way. When we saw the wreck with Martin Truex Jr. and Cole Custer, the big issue that concerned me was visibility. Custer could not see. Kevin Harvick called it the most unsafe thing he's done in a race car and the worst decision NASCAR made. And I'm going to take you guys back to 12 years ago, about 12, 13 years ago. Montreal, the Nationwide Series at the time, now the Xfinity Series, 2008, 2009. The 2009 finish, we finished it under the rain. It was light rain. You could see fine. But 2008 ended due to heavy rain and also darkness. We can race in the rain, but if we cannot see, we cannot race. You need to have a deep field of vision whenever you're driving any sort of automobile, whether it be a race car or a car you're driving on the streets. Right when NASCAR threw the red, I was thinking, postpone that race until the next day because Monday in Austin, Texas, it was sunny. We could have raced fine. So if it's sunny, we're talking about a successful race in the books, a great race overall. I don't think we're talking all about the weather controversy that broke out.
Henry?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. It's I had a hard time watching it. I mean, I texted Zach when I was going back and watching the full race through, and I was like, what are we doing here? Because I'm going to admit I'm a bit anti-road course in general. I prefer the ovals. I prefer the faster speeds. I might be the only one who says that, and I get the road courses are a great test of driver skill and such. And here and there, they're great. COTA just has too many turns, too many sharp turns. I thought the speeds were too low. The truck race, it felt like it was watching snails at different points, and that was in the rain at bits and pieces as well. Now, the Xfinity got through dry. But to your point, like the rain, the lack of visibility is the big one. NASCAR wants to make these rain tires work. I get it. That's great. It adds a unique element that I think I can get behind. But when you can't see and you have some of those wrecks like the Cole Custer and the Martin Truex, I mean, even the Harvick one, we'll get into more details, but I had a very tough time just making it to the end of the full race, watching it through, because I was pretty upset.
And like I said yesterday, I pray to God either NASCAR does something for the future, like put like a little bumper thing so that it prevents the rooster tails from flying up, or we just put the rain tires and ovals to bed, because it's not going to work. There's no way it's going to work on ovals. But let's get into the start of the race now. The drivers had trouble with the tires before even getting off. They started on the wets before the race started. They went back to the slicks, and then before lap 1, they're going back to the rain tires. Or on lap 1, I should say. I mean, is this something we've ever seen before in any type of racing?
Yeah,
let alone NASCAR?
Yeah, I don't know what that start was all about. I don't understand why drivers were I should say NASCAR was thinking the track was deemed as a dry track. No way on earth that was the case. I don't know what to say about that. That was absolutely insane why drivers thought that they could have started that race on dry tires when it was pretty much pouring still when they were on pit road. I will give props to Austin Cindric. You know, he is a road race expert. He has had experience at Circuit of the Americas before, racing the GT3 car back in 2016. That was surprising that he could go 4 laps on slick tires when pretty much everyone else was on wet tires, and Cindric had no issues at all. And it was still faster than the drivers that were on the wets. So I was impressed with that. I'm not going to lie. That was pretty cool to see Cindric lead some laps in the Cup Series race. But that start was just ridiculous. Reminded me a lot of, I think it was the Brazilian Grand Prix in 2008 for Formula One. It was just crazy, that start.
Yeah, I mean, Cindric was a monster those first 4 laps, Henry.
Yeah, I mean, I echo Marty's thoughts exactly. Austin Cindric looked amazing. Asserted himself, I thought, as a real contender to actually go out and win this thing. Maybe to the chagrin of Zach and myself, who were very high on props with the dinger going against him on the show last week. Now, he did have some steering issues and eventually faded, but Austin Cindric's the real deal, and I'm excited to see him at the Cup Series level next year. And as far as the rain, I don't want to talk about it too much, guys. So move on.
All right, move on. We will. Daniel Suarez would bring out the first caution as he would stall his car. He would go several laps down with his problem. Did they ever fix it? I don't even remember.
I can't recall correctly. I think I already threw out my race results for my notes from last night's show, but I don't think they were able to get. They did.
Yeah, he got back out. He was like 10 laps down by the time he did get the transmission fixed. But yeah, kind of a rough day for Suarez there.
Yeah, we were, both of us were high on Suarez last week, knowing how good he is at the road courses. That didn't work out for either one of us, I don't think. Thank God I didn't take him in FanDuel. But two other guys that didn't take in FanDuel were Matt DiBenedetto and William Byron. They would get into each other as DiBenedetto wheel hopped going into turn 11, I want to say. Turn 11, somewhere in that range.
There's too many damn turns you can remember.
Yeah, there's like 20 turns around Coda over 3 miles. I break it off by sectors. There you got the S's after the uphill to turn 1. Then you've got the long back stretch. Then you've got the stadium section or the amphitheater section that ends it all.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love this track. It looks awesome when you race it on Forza, but it's hard to describe when you're talking about it now. But anyways, back to the original point of this. DiBenedetto wheel hops gets into Willie Byron. They both take significant damage. Byron cuts a tire. I mean, I'm surprised to see that DiBenedetto stayed out with as much damage as he did, and I believe he got stage points out of the deal.
Yeah, he did. I was the same way. I'm kind of shocked to see DiBenedetto managed to pull off a top 10 run there at the end of stage 1. And William Byron, shout out to them. You know, they cut the tire down. They had to go in right there, but they bounced back nicely, and they were running top 5 later in this race. So the 24 team, you want my general takeaway from this incident, they are not going anywhere. Do not sleep on William Byron. I know the top 10 streak came to an end by 1 spot this week, but he's going to be there the rest of the season, right down to the wire. I think a serious championship contender.
William Byron is the best racer in the Cup Series right now. Bold prediction.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And I thought I had a hot take. All right.
Oh, no.
If you watch ours and Trackside, we do a weekly power rankings, and my co-host Kelvin LaPierre and I both had William Byron as the number one driver in iRacing. How can you not beat 11 straight top 10 finishes? Now it's after Coda, it was 12 straight top 11 finishes. Even with one win, William Byron is more consistent this season than Denny Hamlin, and I'm going to say even more consistent than Martin Truex Jr., even though Truex has 3 wins. I think Byron right now is the man to beat for the championship.
I had Byron 4th on my list.
I love this.
That's
Zach, we
how
got
much
to have him
parity
back on again. Let's go.
That's how much
Zach's
parity we had.
McAdoo will be out here trying to fade him in DFS every week, and I'll be like, "Are you sure you want to do that? You sure you want to do that? Another top 10 run later."
Let me add this as well. Keep in mind, this Hendrick Motorsports stable has significantly improved since last year. Even when Chase Elliott won the championship last year, how has it improved? How did they get a 1, 2, 3, 4 at Dover? The main thing, their newest competition director, who was Chad Knaus, who used to be William Byron's crew chief. Knaus, I talked with Byron about this after the Dover situation, and he compared Knaus to a 4-star general. That's how good Chad Knaus is, not just as a crew chief, but overall as the main man in charge of competition at Hendrick Motorsports. Knaus wants these cars to be like how they were in the 2000s and wants to get, I want to say, 2-3 cars in that championship 4.
Very well, they could get all 4 of them in, depending on how Bowman does in that round of 8. I think that's just what it comes down to right now. But yeah, that's future. We're going to talk about what happened last weekend. Logano would win stage 1. I mean, is there anything really to say besides he looked strong in that first stage? It was
Logano, you said?
Yeah, how Joey won stage 1.
I think I'll say Logano had a good run. Obviously rain was in the play as well. I kind of thought for a moment Michael McDowell was going to close in on Logano with the road course experience that the McDriver has, but Logano did pretty good for stage 1. It's not a surprise to me though, seeing a top driver take home stage 1 like Joey Logano. He does have road course victories. He won at Watkins Glen in 2015. I think that may be his only road course win in the Cup Series, I want to say. But other than that, it's not surprising that seeing top guys win stages like Logano and Kyle Busch.
Yeah, I don't have much else to add, I guess, to Logano. So you can keep going. You're good.
All right. Well, after they take the green flag for stage 2, Newman would spin in the S's as soon as they flung the green flag out there. Then they hit the backstretch, and Harvick hits the brakes way too early. Don't know what happened there really, and Fox really didn't get a good angle. But then he would be hit by Bubba and Bell, I want to say. Harvick would go airborne a little bit, but then on the following restart, and we I think they've alluded to it a little bit, Truex and Custer would Truex would hit not Bowman, McDowell, and then Custer would hit Truex. I'm blanking for some reason when this is big. This is probably the biggest wreck we've seen. Well, besides Logano's flipping this year, and Keselowski at 500. But Custer hits Truex. Truex gets airborne, and it was scary that second one to watch, especially Custer hitting the sidewall there. We've all alluded. This is where NASCAR should have called it before then. But let's go ahead and speak on the wrecks.
I think pretty much I said it when we began the show, talking about the rain racing. Just absolutely ridiculous. I understand people are going to say it's Truex's fault, it's Custer's fault. This is all on NASCAR, because if they didn't have the red flag out to clean up because of the heavy rains, you would not see thousands of dollars go down the drain, because they now have to fix some of these race cars or even purchase new Gen 6 race cars for future road course races when we got a bunch of road courses coming up on the schedule. Like we got Sonoma coming up after Charlotte this weekend. We also got Road America on July 4th, and then Watkins Glen this August. It was just Not a big fan of what happened, but just fortunate enough, all the drivers walked away unharmed.
Yeah, I know Henry's going to say a lot about the upcoming road courses, but for now, let's just talk about the wrecks.
Yeah, we'll leave those for another week. I mean, the wrecks basically bring to light what we already talked about, like Marty said, just the lack of vision. You've got rain tires, but there's still going to be some grip issues, whether you like it or not, when you're running on a track with standing water. I can't remember if it was around this point or during the second rainfall. Kyle Busch even running up near the front, hydroplaned right through a turn. And at that point, I mean, I don't know. How far is too far, I guess, is how I look at it. And I think the rain tires can work, but maybe not quite in that much rain. And so, it is what it is. It sucked to see a guy like Harvick and Truex especially here in this next wreck get knocked out of a race that they probably had a legitimate shot to win. I mean, even Bubba Wallace was having a solid run there at the beginning, making the call to start on rain tires. And it was just a lack of vision all the way around. So tough to watch.
Yeah, and as someone who had Christopher Bell in his lineup, that would put me out, even though the rest of my lineup did pretty good. But back to the race, because who cares about my FanDuel lineup? NASCAR would red flag the race. They would then also say single file restarts for the rest of the race. I don't know about you guys. I was not a big fan when they did this at Bristol. I wasn't a big fan of this now. Are we team single file restarts for stuff like this?
So I'll talk about this first because I am a dirt racing guy. That's what I cover mostly, dirt racing, the grassroots side of the sport. And usually single file restarts go down when there are crashes off of restarts. If there's like contact via double file, we'll go down to a single file restart. It was just, in my opinion, it was just way too unsafe for double file restarts because you couldn't see whether it be the rain at Coda or the dust at Bristol. And I was at Bristol for that dirt race, and it was very dusty. You should have seen my face afterwards. I was all covered up in dirt. But I understand why they made it single file. I think it was a good call. I still think, though, they should have postponed the race to Monday, and I'm going to keep saying that. I will give credit, though, to NASCAR under that red flag for utilizing the jet dryers, but it was not good enough, though. And if we had to continue that race, I definitely agree NASCAR would go to single file restarts, but they've got a lot of work to do when it comes to wet weather racing.
Yeah, 100% agree. I mean, single file, I think it was warranted given the conditions. But like you said, why are we running in these conditions if we have to go down to single file? I'm with McAdoo. I'm not ever going to be team single file restart. So while I get the reasoning for doing so in this race, shouldn't have been running anyway. So,
yeah, I think we all could agree that should Truex and Custer should have been the breaking point for that race on that day. Come back tomorrow. It's just I don't know what they were thinking, but Kyle Busch would go on to win stage 2. I mean, Kyle Busch is a great road racer. I think we all expected him to be up towards the front, except for me. I was the idiot who said, yeah, fade him. He's not good on the road courses in the last 10 road courses, but he proved me wrong, I think, today or then. But so anything really happens in stage 3 besides fuel mileage there?
Yeah, I think the big thing indeed was the fuel mileage situation. And I'm going to keep saying it, because of how long this track is, if we go green to the end of this race, there is no way in question that Chase Elliott wins this race. Only led 5 laps, 5 or 6 laps, and that's all because he was staying out, trying to hope the rain gods would come and bring out the yellow to red flag, the checkered flag. And if Elliott would not be able to make it, I think Kyle Larson wins this race, gets his second win of the season.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head, and that was the other major problem I had with this. You run it so far, and yeah, I get the rain's coming down harder, but you already dried the track off once. So if you're going to set that precedent there and dry it off again because of the fuel mileage situation, you're handing Chase Elliott a win that I do not think he would have gotten. Now, granted, that 9 car was flying, but like you said, Larson was moving well. Ross Chastain is another guy I need to shout out for the third stage. The way he was driving the heck out of that car, and he was making it work. So he had a great run. I just need to throw his name out there as well. Wound up finishing fourth. The Dinger gets a top 5, but yeah, I mean, that's the story here, I guess, of the final stage, and it's a shortened race. And I guess for me, it just makes the whole COTA weekend look even worse on NASCAR's part. But,
Yeah, we're big fans of Ross the Boss on this show here, but there is one moment I wanted to bring up, and I pointed out in the rundown. Well, I didn't really point it out, but I just typed it out. Kurt Busch, when he hydroplaned, barely missing Austin Dillon and Kyle Busch. That is the closest near miss I have ever seen. How did he avoid them and keep the car running so he didn't get stuck? I'm mind blown by it. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, that's when you knew when Kurt Busch did that this race had to be stopped.
Yeah, it was a heck of a save. Heck of a, he literally fit the needle right through the two cars there going through the turn, keeps the car running, like Zach said. Incredible stuff. But again, that's where the water was at this point, and it is what it is.
And as Marty has already alluded to, Chase Elliott would go on to win the rain-shortened race. This would be Hendrick Motorsports' 268th career win. Their 268th winning cup. That would tie Petty Enterprises for the most as a team. This would also be Chevy's 800th win in the Cup Series. As a Hendrick fan, as a Chevy guy, I love this. But there's a black eye that we're going to talk about in a couple minutes here that it kind of brings it down. But anything else from the weekend, Dakota?
Just a great weekend of racing minus Cup. I didn't get a chance to watch Xfinity or Trucks because of other obligations, i.e. I was covering racing Saturday night at Atlanta Legends Raceway in Canandaigua, watching the big block modifieds. But yeah, nice win for Chase Elliott. Finally in the playoffs. About time he got a win. He was due up and got it done at the road course.
Yeah, I mean, other than just being disappointed that the win came as it did, which may or may not have been deserved, we'll just take this weekend and we'll file it away. And I'm going to say it right now, I would prefer if NASCAR wouldn't return to this track. I think there's a lot of other road courses we could use instead. Daytona road course is not necessarily permanent on the schedule. I'd much rather see them race there again. And I'm not even close on that. So
I'm gonna have to disagree with you there because, in my opinion, if this race does not have rain, we are talking about this as just an incredible race overall under clear skies, and fans will want to come back to this track next season. It's a beautiful racetrack. I know it's meant for open wheel racing, primarily Formula One and IndyCar racing with the U.S. Grand Prix and what they've done there in the past, but that track is meant for NASCAR as well. It's a great track. It really represents not just Austin, Texas, but all of America. It was well hyped. I know it wasn't as it was planned because of the rain, and obviously they were competing against the PGA Championship and NBA, NHL playoffs. However, though, I think this track will remain on the schedule next season. It will definitely help indeed because when you go to look at the next gen car next season, 5 gears and sequential, it will be a new way of shifting on road courses. Keep that in mind too. And with the way this track was when it comes to all around, it's a very technical track for the drivers to race on, just like it is on Formula One. I would like to see this track come back next season.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I love racing COTA on video games, but you're not going to see it go away. They're going to give it another chance, especially with the next gen car coming.
Plus, I'll add this as well. It was a huge crowd. There was a great crowd for this race. The parking lot was full. Actually, they had to use another school for like shuttles or something like that. And you had a lot of fans in attendance. I'm very glad to see that. I mean, it's no surprise considering it's down in Texas. But it's going to be a great race next year. I believe it.
Yeah, I would imagine they'll run again. It's just sour taste in my mouth, I guess. And like you were saying, just the amount of turns, it really stands out to me as a track that's meant more for open wheel. But with the new car coming, I guess I can give it another shot. Maybe we'll just take a road course out somewhere else. Maybe we'll put the Brickyard
Indy?
back where it
Take off
belongs.
I mean, they're already
Something,
doing that right
please.
now.
Yeah, we do have a fan who said he's pretty sure that they did announce Coda will be back. So we will see it back next year, probably back in the same spot right before the Coke 600. Now let's get into the Truck Series. Todd Gillard, he gets his first career Truck Series win in probably one of the most boring truck races I've ever seen in my life. I'm not even going to mince words here. I almost fell asleep.
Yeah, right there with you.
Like I said, you go ahead.
That's about all I can add. I did not make it to the end of this one. It was so bad. They were going pretty slow. Like I said, I compared them to snails, and that's not a joke. So I get it. You know, your stock cars, wet track, open wheel meant track, and you know, less experienced drivers to some degree down there as well. So makes sense that they're a little slower. But yeah, compared to the Cup race, I mean, this was like a whole step even worse. So maybe that's why I'm so sour on Coda, just because I watched the trucks and then I couldn't recover for anything else.
Yeah. And then later in the day, we had a couple Cup drivers go down to the Xfinity Series to get more track time. Kyle Busch would take home the Xfinity Series race at Coda. I didn't get to see this one. Henry, this is all on you.
Yeah, I mean, he won it going away in the end. And I mean, I don't have a whole ton of analysis coming out of here. I think you're looking at you got some good road racers there at the Xfinity Series level. A couple guys you talked about Cup drivers jumping down. We had two jumping up into the Cup race this weekend in Dinger and Cindric. So with Colleague announcing that they're going to run Cup time full time next year, and Cindric's going to be up there obviously for the Wood Brothers. So keep an eye if NASCAR is going to keep more road courses on the schedule. Keep watching that Xfinity pool. If it's a greater point of emphasis, maybe there'll be more drivers coming from that background in the years to come. Also, the truck race, it was race 2 of the Triple Truck Challenge. So Gilliland got a $50,000 bonus. I forgot to mention that, but it's presented by Wampley, and that's like the greatest name ever for a company, in my opinion. So just had to throw them out there too.
Now with Kyle Busch winning, there's a Cup saying, "Win on Saturday, buy during the week," and I just had to get the Skittles gummies to try them. So that was his sponsor on Saturday. I thought I'd throw that in there. I thought it was pretty good because I'm an idiot. I laugh at stupid stuff like that. But now we get into the motorsports news. Marty, have you seen the SRX game that's coming out tomorrow?
I have. I'm looking forward to the series starting up in, I think, a week from Saturday or 2 weeks from Saturday. Going to be a great short track series. Tony Stewart, Ray Evernham have done a great job in really promoting this series. A lot similar to IROC, just with a lot more legends of the sport we've seen. I am planning on playing the game tomorrow. However, though, I am a big guy into iRacing. I love iRacing. I do it regularly, especially with what they got going on the dirt. But I will try SRX the game out. I got a bunch of friends that play Xbox as well. I'm gonna have a lot of fun racing on the SRX machines and as well the Stadium Super Trucks.
And I will skip Henry because he doesn't play Xbox. But I'm waiting to see how good this game is before I buy it, because I don't want to throw away my money on a game that we don't know. I don't know how it's gonna be. So I'm excited to see how the reviews are, because it might swing if I buy it or not, in one direction or not. Now to the bad news that I alluded to earlier. Eddie Dehant. He's been charged with it, hasn't he? Or
he was charged with it, arrested 2 weeks ago.
Okay, that I wasn't sure if it's arrested yesterday or charged. He has been charged with assault and battery of a pregnant woman, but I'll let you guys take over because I don't know. I want to hear you guys have to say first.
Hank, you go first.
Put me on the spot here. Okay. Well, I just kind of read into the issue. So he was arrested May 12th in North Carolina, according to police department records. And basically, the charges brought against him in the whole process just violate NASCAR's code of conduct here. And so hence we have the suspension. And the other thing, I'll just add, I won't really get into thoughts and opinions on the issue because I think, as with anything, it's important to see the legal process through to the end. That said, if this is true, it's a damn shame, and this will affect more than just Chase Elliott at the Cup Series level. He's been his spotter since his rookie year in 2016, but he's also listed as a spotter for Justin Allgaier at the Xfinity Series, and then Austin Hill down at the Trucks. So more teams and more drivers being impacted than just Elliott here. But yeah, I don't want to comment too much, I don't think, on the whole legal thing. Just got to see where it all goes. But
all right, first thing I want to say is why the hell did Hendrick Motorsports and NASCAR didn't issue the indefinite suspensions as soon as possible? I understand that Dehant violated a rule where he did not report the charge in time, but come on, you're one of the spotters for one of the best teams in the sport for the most popular driver, and you do this. This is a terrible look for Hendrick Motorsports and NASCAR, even more Eddie Dehant. If he's guilty, you got to fire Eddie Dehant, no question about that. However, though, I would fire him whether he be innocent or guilty for damaging the brand of Hendrick Motorsports. And if you've ever met Rick Hendrick, I met him at the media center at Watkins Glen in 2019. He's one of the nicest owners in the sport. And for doing that, you're just damaging the reputation of Hendrick Motorsports. And because this was not even known until just now, because the alleged thing happened back in September, something like that, almost a year ago. And now the charges were issued 2 weeks ago, and now we're just finding about this. My co-host Kelvin was talking about this, and he's watching, so I'll give him a shout out for that. Have an investigation amongst Hendrick Motorsports. Interview every person of the number 9 team, maybe even any person of HMS as a whole. Whoever knew about this, fire their butt as well for not even being honest and telling the truth and just hiding information and then just pretty much backstabbing and just waiting until this was just found out about yesterday. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, and I think I said yesterday, I never would have thought that this. It's not domestic abuse, but it's still assault, so it's still in the same area there. I never would have thought it would come to NASCAR. It was alleged a couple of years ago with Kurt Busch, but it was proven false because of, well, I'm not going to get into it because I got blocked for her. But back to the main point here. As a guy who liked Eddie Dehant, he was my favorite spotter because I was a Gordon fan growing up, and I would listen to Eddie Dehant call Gordon's races. This hurts. He's gone from Hendrick. There's no way he comes back after not reporting his warrant for his arrest within the time frame there. He's gone for at least June 27th is his second court date.
His court dates are both in June. I know that, but I'll add this real quick. If you're putting NFL and NBA, MLB athletes at high standard for domestic violence like cases, or even if it is domestic violence, I know obviously we're talking about it has nothing to do with domestic violence because this wasn't within the family. You have to hold everyone in NASCAR to that exact same high standard. Yeah, and the shame of it is he's done, and it is what it is. But court systems will rule. He's done with Hendrick. Depending on what happens in his court case come next month, he could very well be back in NASCAR, but he's not going to be back in the capacity he was. He's going to be getting a lower team. He'll get a Rick Ware Racing.
Right. Well, look right in the Hendrick garage, the precedent that was set last year with Kyle Larson losing his ride at Chip Ganassi, being suspended the rest of the year for an incident that, I don't want to speak for the two of you, but it's a whole different degree than domestic assault. If these allegations are in fact true, there's no way he returns to this team. I think you guys have pretty much spoken for me here and how I see it now. I mean, everyone does deserve the fair process of trial, and he'll get that, but in terms of job and the reputation, it's pretty sad state of affairs. And I would agree with you, McAdoo. Like these are things that we see all the time in other leagues, and guys will get varying degrees of punishment, almost somewhat based on name value at times, which really sucks to see. And it's sad to see it come to NASCAR.
Yeah, and I think we'll close the book on that one because I think we need to lighten it up a little bit. Darlington will take over for Canadian Tire Motorsports Park come Labor Day. That will now be a triple header at Darlington as trucks will join Xfinity Series and Cup Series. I am happy because I like Darlington a hell of a lot more than Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. I know Henry's going to agree with me on that. Marty, take it over.
Yeah, I love Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. It's unfortunate what's happening with Trudeau and everyone up in Canada. So to my friends that are living above the border, hope you're staying safe and healthy. Obviously, a short track in Ontario, I believe it is Czekala, canceled their 2021 program with everything happening due to COVID-19. They're currently under a lockdown situation. But Darlington replacing CTMP is no surprise at all. This is something we expected after what we saw from the revamped schedule last season after COVID-19 hit the U.S. and Canada, or North America, I should say. And this should be, we're hoping for a better race than we saw a couple of weeks ago, as Stuart Friesen called it a bleep show. But Darlington's a great track for the truck series. I don't know why it hasn't been a yearly thing. Hopefully it's now back to a yearly thing on the schedule. It's a great track for all the series. It's a unique track like no other oval we have on the schedule, and it will be fun to watch Labor Day weekend. I still wish they did throwbacks for that weekend still.
Before you go, Henry, I got to ask him this because I got into an argument with a guy over this. The Crown Jewel, which Darlington race is the Crown Jewel?
Southern 500. No
Thank
question.
Thank you. I got into an argument on TikTok with a guy who said that he said the Crown Jewel race for Darlington was the first one because of throwbacks. That was his only thing he said.
It's not just because of throwbacks. This is the Southern 500. This has been a notable race on the schedule. The 400-mile race was added after the 500, I'm pretty sure. Maybe at the same time. I'm not a NASCAR historian, but it's the 500-mile race that means a lot on Labor Day weekend from day to night.
Thank you. All right, Henry, now it's your turn.
Yeah, so just to clear that up, that 400 race was added early, but it's gone away, obviously, for long periods and stretches.
From
and
2003 to 2020, there was no.
Well, yeah, and it did it
2019 because it was added because of COVID. But
yeah, how do you call a Crown Jewel race one that's 100 miles shorter than the other one? I don't get that at all. At any rate, I mean, after the race the trucks had in the spring at Darlington, I'll take another run with them down there this fall. So I have no problem with this whatsoever. Marty, I have to ask you a question about Crown Jewels now, though. We have been talking about this on a few different shows. Because there's no real Brickyard 400 this year, which race would you be elevating to that fourth Crown Jewel spot? Have we already seen it, or is it still coming? Which one would it be for you?
So
Put me on the spot.
Here. All right, you ready?
It's the 500, the Coke 600, and Southern 500.
Daytona 500, Coca-Cola 600, Southern 500, and the Bristol Night Race. I would put that over the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course any day. Yes, the Brickyard 400 on the oval was legendary at the time, but no, you got to go with the Bristol Night Race, especially when it's a playoff cutoff race. That just makes it more intense.
It's a cutoff race.
Plus, yeah, I was there last year for it. Plus, who doesn't love a short track Saturday night showing at the Coliseum?
That works for me. I think we're leaning Geico 500, but that was the other one that we were neck and neck. Is it Bristol Night or is it Talladega? So, hey, that works.
Yeah, we both said that the Brickyard 400, whatever it's going to be, the Indy GP that they're going to race on now is no longer Crown Jewel. So, we both said Geico, the Geico 500.
My buddies that are in the chat are saying, one of them saying the Martinsville Night Race. No, Bristol Night Race over Martinsville Night Race. I know Martinsville, a legendary track. Yes, I know, Steve, it is. But how long has Martinsville had lights for? Only 3 years. You got to go with Bristol. I don't know why Kelvin's saying no. I was guessing he's against my Bristol night race thing.
He's coming up with his list right now.
or he's
Probably
against
is.
our Geico thing. That's what he typed it. He said no. We said Talladega won. But he says Matt Martinsville night race. I don't even know anymore. This is
Guys,
get out of here. Bristol is the more acceptable answer in my opinion. But on that note, I think we'll close the book on the Darlington thing. But now back to what I alluded to earlier, way before anything else. The greatest racing day pre-show. I'm going to harp on this because we're trying to promote as much as possible. Get it into your head so you can watch on Sunday, 10:30. Trainwreck Sports streaming platforms: YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Go ahead, go follow them. Follow the show. Follow Marty, Hank, me. But don't forget.
Sunday at 10:30. So you're telling me I got to get up?
Yes.
Okay.
Get your ass up.
I'm not on it.
Yeah, unfortunately, Marty won't be there. Marty will be covering one of his dirt track. Is it Land of Legends this week or Weed Sport?
This weekend, I am at. I'm doing 3 races this week in the plan, but likely going to be 2 with the weather. Friday night, I'm at Freedom Motorsports Park in Delavan. Saturday night, I'm at Land of Legends Raceway in Canada. Or excuse me, no, not Land of Legends. My bad. Force of Havoc, because I've been there the past 2 weeks. Saturday, I'm at Genesee Speedway in Batavia. Friday, the Super Late Models for Freedom. Saturday are the Rush Late Model Tour for Genesee. And then Sunday, I'm at Weed Sport for the Super Dirt Car Series, Heroes Remembered 100. And if you're from New York and you love dirt racing, you love dirt modified racing because that's big block country in New York. It's a lot of fun to cover, and I'm looking forward to seeing a bunch of my old friends up there this weekend.
But
have fun on Sunday. I cannot wait to get out to Weedsport. Like that's my neck of the woods out here, so I can't wait.
Yeah.
And now I kind of screwed it up because I should have left the greatest promo all the way to this because now we're getting into the Indy 500 territory. We're getting into the start of the greatest race day. The Indy 500 preview. Let's go. Henry, you want to get into the qualifying spots here as Dixon gets the pole, and we have 4 Ganassis in the top 9.
That we do. Scott Dixon, nice job last weekend during the Indy 500 qualifying to claim the pole award by 0.03 of a second. 300 miles per hour. I don't know what this is that I'm reading right now. Over Colton Herta. It was close. That's all you need to know. But everything right down through to where am I at here? Somebody's got to take this over because I'm losing connection.
So yeah, Scott Dixon. I think he's the man to watch out for. He's been the man to watch out for all May. Obviously he's got the pole for the 500. The Ganassi guys have been fast all month long. Even Tony Kanaan in the new 48 team. Watch out for the Ganassi guys as a whole. Andretti, it should be good to watch out for. I think it's going to be a battle of Ganassi versus Andretti. You know, Ryan Hunter-Reay's fast. You always got to watch out for the madman known as Alexander Rossi because he gets hot when something doesn't go his way in the Indy 500 race. He will plow his way through the field. Ryan Hunter-Reay was in the Fast 9, won the race in 2014, so you have to watch out for him. But my dark horses entering the 500 are on the front row as well. Colton Herta and Rinus VeeKay. Colton Herta, second-generation driver. I know he didn't have a good Indy 500 in 2019. He had a good run in 2020, had a top 10 run. But my goodness, that kid is something else. When he won in 2019 at COTA, I knew he was the future of IndyCar, and he has really proven it. Early contender right now from the championship. I believe he's top 5 right now in standings. I want to say I haven't looked at the standings that much because I don't follow IndyCar that much compared to NASCAR. And then Rinus VeeKay coming off the Indy GP win. Him and Ed Carpenter are very fast when it comes to races on the Indiana Oval. So VeeKay, I think, he's the future of Ed Carpenter racing, and he's going to be strong too.
First of all, you guys can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So just to follow up, now that I'm back, Rinus VK, that was the name that I wanted to throw out there starting on the front row. I'm right there with you. He won the Grand Prix on the road course, young international driver. He's fast. He's one to watch. I agree with you on Colton Herta, but he's the real sleeper up front for me. And then just looking kind of further down the qualifying list, a former Indy 500 champ, Juan Pablo Montoya, down there in 24th. Wouldn't count him out just yet, maybe. And then Will Power, rough day on Saturday at qualifying, but he managed to nab a spot in the field. So he's starting 32nd. Can he make up that many spots to actually win this thing? I don't think so. But no. Will Power will probably be on the move with that Penske power in the Indy 500. And he knows how to get around here as well. So as a guy starting further back, keep an eye.
Now, starting on the last row, with Will Power is Simona Di Silvestro. Did she have the 33rd spot?
She had the 33rd spot, yes.
Now, this is why you don't tweet stupid stuff like this. Can I share this? Share screen? Give me a second here. I got to find out how to do this. This is why you don't tweet out stupid stuff like that, because then you get owned by IndyCar on NBC. I don't know about you guys. That's not something I would want to do because, as you can see, this guy failed to qualify. And I thought that was a great own. I loved it all. Oh, God. Congrats to Simona Di Silvestro and the whole team there. That's all women run, I believe.
Yeah, woman owner, woman driver. That's cool to see. And add as well, that is a Penske machine, too. They got that car and the engine from Team Penske and Chevrolet. They could be an extreme dark horse. Likely they're not going to win. I don't think they're going to get a top 10, though. It's going to be very tough knowing how Simona Di Silvestro drives in the IndyCar series. But I will be watching her closely, though, that's for sure.
We got all kinds of betting odds on this race. Like IndyCar, they've been slacking on the betting odds this year, Marty, when we'll be doing our betting previews on the show. But I can run through a few if you guys
I'm not a gambler.
interested.
I'm not a gambler. I don't do daily fantasy or anything like that, but go for it. I like odds though.
All right, that works. Scott Dixon is the favorite, plus 350. I don't think it's a big surprise there. Marty, you could get Colton Herta at 7-1 to win the Indy 500, and after that, everybody's 11-1 or longer. Pato O'Ward is the 11-1. Alex Palou, Alexander Rossi, and Rinus VK 14-1. Joseph Newgarden is 15-1. Reigning champion Takuma Sato, which I like that IndyCar is going to kind of recognize him before the start of the race. They announced because he won last year with no fans there. He is 20-1.
Wow.
To repeat, if you guys want to hear anyone else's odds, I can let them know.
Graham Rahal.
Graham Rahal. Let's see here, 18-1.
Oh, the fact that Rossi and Sato are in double digits to 1 is surprising because Takuma Sato is very good when it comes to the Indy 500. Even before he got the win in 2017, remember he battled for the win in 2012 when driving the Rahal Letterman Lanigan at number 15. So do not count Sato out of Indy 500s. He's a very strong contender in the races. His odds are surprising. That'd be something good for fantasy, or maybe even a good chance to make some money off of. The fact that Alexander Rossi is 11-1 baffles me. I understand that it's not been the best seasons for Rossi, not just this year, but also last year as well. But this is the Indianapolis Motor Speedway we were talking about. Yes, he won in 2016 due to fuel conservation. He had a strong car in 2017, a strong car in 2019. The fact that the odds are not like 7 or 8-1 surprises me.
Now, before we go to what the fans are saying on their odds, I'm going to add this. A pissed off Rossi is a fun Rossi to watch.
Yes.
If you go back to 2019, he was on a move after getting pissed off with a lap car. He was on a move after last year. I think you told me last week. Last night it was Sato he got into put on pit road. It put him in the back and Rossi was moving all the way up. I mean, if Rossi gets mad, watch out because you don't want to mess with him. He will move.
Yeah, and you guys like the value in him to win the race outright there. I'll do you one better, 2-1 for a top 5 finish for Alexander Rossi, and laying $125 just to finish top 10. I think those are 2 very good alternative angles to go there if you didn't want to bet him to win this whole thing. Another guy I just want to throw out there because we got some Indy 500 history is Castroneves, 30-1 to win this thing. And he's starting 8th, so not a bad qualifying weekend there at all.
All right, now we got the fans. They want Ed Carpenter's odds.
Ed Carpenter. All right, where are we at here? 25-1. Ed Carpenter to win. He'd be plus 350 for a top 5. Top 10 I can find real quick. Plus 120. So plus money across the board there.
Yeah, so he has good odds, I believe. I'm not picking Ed Carpenter though. Marty, I'll let you go first on picks here.
Scott Dixon last season, that was his race to lose. Just a bad pit stop compared to Takuma Sato is, in my opinion, what cost Dixon the race. Dixon almost got the pole last year, and the fact that he's been fast the entire month of May, it's still surprising that he only has had 1 sip of milk that came in 2008. I think Scott Dixon is hungrier than ever for that second Indy 500 championship, and I think he's going to get it done.
Henry?
I can't disagree with that whatsoever, but Zach knows me. I'm always hunting for more value. I don't want to bet favorites around here. I'll have a whole lot more coming out in an article because we're going to cover this bad boy in depth for sure. But Rinus VeeKay, Marty went in on him earlier, and I backed it up 14-1. That is a name that I'm keeping an eye on, starting on the front row. Got momentum after the Grand Prix on the road course. Don't sleep.
Had a good run as well, I believe, as a rookie in the Indy 500, I want to say. I may be confusing him with Pablo last year. I'm not too sure.
Let me double check on that.
Yeah. I know both of them crashed. I'm pretty sure both of them wrecked, though.
Now, I will save my pick for Sunday just to leave you guys on that little cliffhanger. Make sure you guys watch on Sunday. But what I will say is, and this also will go in for the Coke 600. I always want racing fans to watch the whole race. And it goes for everyone, not even just racing fans. I want everyone to watch the whole race. But for non-racing fans, if they just want to tune in for something, if you watch nothing else, please watch the pre-race ceremonies for both these races. That's all I ask, because between the taps, the national anthem, and the 21-gun salute, and for Indy 500, there's back home again in Indiana. I've listened to it the whole month of May, and I can't.
Same.
I could not get it. I couldn't. It's been #1 on my Spotify for on repeat until this week. I don't know why, but it's just how it goes to show you how much I love that song, especially by Straight No Chaser. I prefer the Straight No Chaser version to any other version. IndyCar fans are going to hate me for saying that.
Yes.
But
Jim Neighbors, the legend. I love Jim Cornelison. He's one of my favorite anthem singers ever for the Chicago Blackhawks. Between him and Doug Allen of the Sabres, it's really tough. I won't go that far. But Jim Cornelison, my gosh, that guy can sing back home again in Indiana, especially when he's a Hoosier native. However, though, Jim Neighbors over Jim Cornelison all the way. Come on, my fam, back me up. Back me up on that.
I'm not hating on Jim Neighbors.
I know you're not.
But I am a big Straight No Chaser fan. They did not do well with the 1 year that they came to the Brickyard, and I kind of saw that when I Googled YouTubed it, and it wasn't pretty. But going back, just watch the pre-race ceremonies. Just do it. You'll be amazed at how well that they honor our troops.
Thank you, Steve. He agrees with me.
Yeah, so I got to follow up on a couple of things here. Marty first. Rinus VeeKay finished 20th last year.
Okay.
And the rookie of the year in the Indy 500 was Pato O'Ward. He finished 6th. Pablo did finish further down than VeeKay 28th. So just to clear that up. And then, like Zach said, just, we have a long weekend. We got a great day of racing on Sunday, but just remembering why we have this great day of racing, why we have this long weekend. That's, I think, what it's all about, and that easily gets lost. So salute the troops, watch the ceremonies. If you're having a cookout with family, friends, whatever, just remember what the weekend's all about. And it started right down the road for me, like 5 minutes in Waterloo. So I'm sitting in Seneca Falls right now. So it hits home here for sure.
Yeah,
Zach, were you going to make a pick for the 500? You just kind of like,
no, I told you.
I'm here or what?
I told you. I'm waiting for Sunday. I'll wait for Sunday. I gotta make sure people tune in. I'm gonna be an asshole. I don't care because I want the views.
He's gonna make his pick with 5 laps to go. I'm calling it.
No,
that wouldn't be out of the norm. I tell you.
You can write this down. I will make a pick Sunday, or Henry. I will pay Henry $50. I will Venmo him $50. I promise you that.
I'll take $50. Yeah. That works for me. Can you make it 51 so I can bet on Cody Ware to win the 600?
Oh dang!
No, enough with the Cody Ware jokes.
No, if you're gonna bet 51, you're gonna put it on Roman, or is it Roman Grosjean that's racing Sunday too in the 500? I forgot. Whoever's in the 51.
I think you're right. Where is it?
Steve, by the way, I already said
no,
Scott
it's Fittipaldi.
Oh yeah, that's right, Pietro Fittipaldi.
Yep.
All right.
He's not going
to start in 13th. Hey, you never know.
All right. Now here we go into the Charlotte Coke 600 race. I'll dive deep into the details of the Charlotte. It was built to they built this track to rival Indy. They wanted the World 600 at the time to rival the Indy 500 at that time. Jimmy's not in the race. Nice try though. To rival the Indy 500, and but they didn't get the track built in time for the first race, as it took a couple more weeks, as the first World 600 was raced on June 15th, 1960. Ever since 1961, though, the race has always been on Memorial Day, including last year when they thought they were going to have to postpone it due to COVID. I mean, we have picks coming in. But Charlotte, I've been to Charlotte. I don't know if you guys have been to Charlotte. It's an amazing track. I love it. I sat in turn 4 for the 2014 Coke 600. Amazing track. One of my favorite tracks. Probably, actually, yeah, I will say it is my favorite track I've been to out of the 4. Sorry, Watkins Glen, but
I went there in 2014 for the playoff race. That was fun. Got to take part of the Richard Petty driving experience the day after. Got a fun little ride along there, so that was really cool to be a part of that. Charlotte's a nice facility. Best facility I've ever been to is Bristol, though.
I've never been. You guys definitely have me beat in terms of tracks attended. I feel like I just never get out of the house when I talk to other race fans, honestly. But yeah, it's going to be a fun one. And like Zach said, they were able to keep this one the same. But, of course, the Indy 500 was not Memorial Day weekend last year. So we finally have both mashed back together. Unfortunately, nobody's doubling down this year. But, hey, that takes a lot of heart to do anyway. So Coke 600 should be fun.
Go ahead. Well, before you continue, one thing I'm glad, though, fans are back at both.
100% full capacity.
If you go back to last year, like one of my friends shared a picture of the start of the race last year with no fans. It looks so weird. And then you go back to Indy's at 40% capacity, 140,000 though. That's a giant ass facility there, and I'm glad to see that many people back in the stands.
Yeah, I kind of wish that they were letting more in, especially after last year and nobody being able to go. I don't know. I cannot recall the fan's name, but he's been to every single Indy 500, and he sat outside the gates last year during it. I don't know if either of you would know the name off the top of your head, but it was just such a sad picture to see him sitting outside having to watch it on TV. But he was there, so kudos to him. But I was just going to dive into more on Charlotte real quick in terms of looking at some stats for getting into making some picks here eventually.
Remember, it's a quad oval. a 1.5 mile quad oval.
I didn't even have that in my notes, sir. Sister track to Atlanta Motor Speedway. The banking, the layout, the design are pretty much the same across both. However, Atlanta obviously a whole lot more tire wear, given that they haven't repaved it in I can't even remember how long at this point.
It's older than all three of us.
Yeah. So you won't have as much tire wear this weekend. Charlotte lost the All-Star race because of Texas giving up a race to Coda. So now Texas has the All-Star race, but that's not really overly important. And yeah, really just kind of looking at guys who have performed well at 1.5 mile venues coming into this race, and track history at Charlotte, I think would be the two things, but this season especially. So I can tell you for a fact that makes me think of Kyle Larson right out of the gate, but we'll keep going.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead before I look at a rundown here.
Yeah, I'll just go right into my pick to win because he's been very good on the intermediate tracks and 550 this year. And if we go back to Atlanta, which was a 325 lap race, he led nearly 300 laps of that race, just under it, and lost that race. So I think he'll dominate this race and win it. My pick's going with same with Henry, Kyle Larson.
Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
You're good. You're good. It's all good. This is your show.
Yeah. So on this show, we before we get into our picks, what I do is I do my DFS picks for this Sunday. I'm gonna only do two because I haven't even looked at everyone and how much they are because it came out this morning and I didn't have time. So with that being said, I do like Kyle Busch and Ryan Blaney this week. Ryan Blaney, there's something about Ryan Blaney in 550 tracks. It just makes him work, and Kyle Busch just knows how to run here, and maybe it's alluding to something. But and then the guys to avoid. Well, no, I'm not saying William Byron.
You better not, especially in Marty's presence.
I can't do that. I'll get people.
We'll just kind of smush your middle screen like down into nothing, and we'll continue the show.
I'll get replaced. I'm gonna say avoid. Who do I say avoid? I'll say Matty D and.
Sorry, Kelvin.
I'll avoid Matty D and I can't say Logano for this week. I think they're both Matty D. There's something about this track. I don't know what it is. I never have seen him do well here. And then as far as Logano, I think he might be priced too high for this week. But take that as your own caution.
I'd say someone to watch out for maybe as a dark horse. And I know this was because we had a long run before we went to overtime. That was Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Had a top 5 finish for the 47 team in the 600 last year. I believe he finished 4th in that race, didn't finish 3rd. But I would say watch out for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. as a dark horse.
Yeah, he had a top 5 finish. To your point, in 2019 as well. So a couple of top 5s and a 10th back in the 2018 it would have been. So some recent success there from Ricky Stenhouse here at Charlotte. Talking about Zach's guys to avoid there, Matt DiBenedetto, the reason you haven't seen him run well is because he's averaged a finish of 28.9 over the last 10 races at Charlotte. Now, granted, some of that was in significantly
the 83, the 32.
The 32, yeah. So
right, but he hasn't really improved all that much since joining the Wood Brothers, 18th and 15th in the last 2 here at Charlotte. So
how about with the 95 team? How did you do there in 2019?
2019, 39th.
Okay.
So there's that. And then Joey Logano, I don't know what his pricing is for DFS, Zach, but averages finish of 15th over the last 10. So
1.5 thousand.
Yeah, it might be a little steep there. I think I would be inclined to agree with both of those avoids. Just off the top there. Should we jump into odds to win, or did you guys have any others that you wanted to?
I'm
Yeah,
good.
is there anyone you want to? You okay? Yeah, just go ahead. I was gonna see if you want to ask about any DFS guys.
Nah, I don't do
All
daily
right.
fantasy.
No worries. So, Marty, if you were going to bet Kyle Larson to win this race, you'd be betting the favorite here once again. He's 5-1 on the current DraftKings odds. Martin Truex Jr., he's just behind at plus 550. The fact that he's not the race favorite is a little interesting, given he's averaged a finish of 4.5 over the last 10 at Charlotte. Now, like we talked about, Larson's been really good on the mile and a half this year, but interesting to see there. Plus 145 and plus 155, respectively, for a top three there with those two. Kyle Busch plus 650. Chase Elliott 7-1. Denny Hamlin plus 750. Round out the group of five. I guess you could call them the favorites at less than 10-1 odds. So anyone else there that you might take a shot at, Marty? And then I got to ask McAdoo, too. What is he doing here?
I already picked Larson, so I'm sticking with it?
Attaboy.
Did I miss Kyle Busch, or did that just not? Is he not up there?
He's plus 650.
All right, yeah. So I mean, I might take a run at Kyle Busch only because he dominated as well here at this track with Truex, but we'll continue on. We'll continue on.
All right, we got Ryan Blaney and Brad Keselowski 10-1. Kevin Harvick is 11-1. Joey Logano 14-1. Alex Bowman and William Byron 16-1. Everyone else is 30-1 or longer. So that's your mid tier.
You know who I'm going to ask?
Do I?
Yes. Wait a minute. There's two. There's two that I could ask about. I want to go with the higher one.
The higher one? It's got to be Tyler Reddick, right?
Yeah.
40-1.
Okay, not bad.
Not bad.
And then our boy Cody Ware.
Yep.
I thought he was going to ask about Kevin Harvick.
No, Harvick's 14-1, 11-1.
Oh yeah.
This is where that extra dollar Zach's going to Venmo me when he doesn't make a pick on the show is going. Cody Ware is 1,500. Yeah, 1,500-1 to win the Coke 600. And there's that. It's down there with Dakota iRacing champion James Davison, I might add. So I might have to flip my bet. But
yeah, he's going James Davison now.
It's his episode this week and everything.
Hey, no. It's the Graham Rahal episode. Don't get it twisted.
Sorry. In terms of the group, Zach, I know we'll get to Group F in a second. Talking about Ricky Stenhouse Jr., though, that was the group that I was looking at. And Marty made a good point. That's Group E this week. Michael McDowell and Ricky Stenhouse are both plus 250. Cole Custer and Ryan Newman are plus 255. I mean, the way the 41-team season has been going, probably staying away there. Ryan Newman, by far the inferior Roush Fenway car. And I think Stenhouse can beat McDowell here. So that is one I'm definitely eyeing on in Group E there.
I'm not laughing at what you said. I'm laughing at what the comment that just came in said. But yes, Stenhouse, I believe, is going to be the best one there. And by the way, just for the audio listeners, we do have a comment that said every car would have to not finish, and he would have to run 30 more laps to unlap himself. And I know he's talking about Cody Ware, so that's just
the things we do on this show. Group F, this is for Zach. Eric Jones, group favorite, 2-1. He is co-favorites, actually, with Bubba Wallace is also 2-1. Ryan Preece plus 270. Corey LaJoie jumping up into Group F this week, plus 4. He's 4-1.
I could not take LaJoie in that group. I don't know how anyone would take LaJoie in that group.
Shout out to LaJoy though last week. Like he threw
Yeah,
some good laps at Coda. So impressive.
Yeah, he held his own, but I'm going to take Bubba. I like the 2311 team.
Risque. I don't know.
Someone's going to clip that and use it in wrong terms. I know it.
Marty, do you have a feel for either of those lower tier groups? We always like to look at the drivers down lower in the group head-to-heads, because basically the way the group works, you're looking at these four guys, whichever one finishes the best of the four. So it's a lot easier to handicap a 4-man horse race than a 40-car race that you're doing to pick the winner. So
yeah, you're putting me on the spot right there. I don't know. I'd probably have to say Bubba because he's had the better runs, but more consistent than Eric Jones this season. I kind of thought that Eric Jones would be a big improvement to the 43 team this year, but right now, early on, we haven't really seen it.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I just don't know, man, something about 2311 racing. I feel like I want to stay away half the time, but anyway.
What, you hate LeBron and Michael Jordan now? Since when?
Shut up. I don't hate Michael Jordan. Moving on. Head-to-head matchups. We always like to look at a couple of these here. Not a whole lot of plus money opportunities based on the way the lines are at the moment. However, your boy, see how he looks up when I say that, Tyler Reddick, plus 108 in a head-to-head against Christopher Bell.
Give me Reddick.
Give me Reddick. There it is.
I'd go, you said Reddick versus Bell?
Yep.
I'd go Tyler Reddick just because he's had better cars on 550s, specifically Homestead.
Well, you get a plus 108 payout to boot. So
and Reddick can run that high line. I cannot wait to see it until he hits the wall and damages the rest of the car. But
what about this one too? I have to ask. Chris Buescher minus 109 is actually an underdog to Eric Almirola minus 122.
Oh no, Buescher! I gotta go Buescher. Buescher's been much better on 550 tracks this season.
That 10 team's just snake bit wherever they run. So.
Specifically, he did well at Homestead. I used for my example. Keep that in mind. So,
Buescher also faded in that race. He did well early.
Well, yeah,
but he faded, and I don't remember what happened to Almirola in that race. But it hurts. It hurts going against the SHR boys. But I have to. I think Buescher is probably going to be the better driver this Sunday.
Zach, didn't you say something about Ryan Blaney? Which one of you said something about Ryan Blaney?
I did. I said Blaney and Busch for DFS Picks.
Would you fade the other SHR boy, Kevin Harvick? Ryan Blaney's a minus 122 favorite. Kevin Harvick's minus 109. So same odds as that other
Harvick. Give him the 4.
Okay. I wanted to see how far I could stretch and run with that.
No.
I think we pretty much covered everything. Not seeing manufacturer odds up to date. So I guess those will be coming out closer maybe after qualifying, or DraftKings is still working on them. But yeah, it was just the matchups, the head-to-heads, and the groups. But all kinds of ways to bet on both races here this Sunday. So if you're looking to dabble in that and find some plus money picks, I know I will be indulging, and I'll have a whole bunch of them in those articles over at flurrysports.org later this week. So shameless plug for
our articles. Yeah, we need the views. We need the views. So come on over and please watch us, or not watch us. Read our articles because we need the views.
Yeah, don't watch me write. That's not a good idea.
I'll give my plugs as well. RSN Trackside, 7 o'clock Eastern Time on Rock Sports Network's Facebook page, and we also have it on the RSN Trackside page. Last night, in addition to Zach, we had Andy Jankowiak from Tonawanda, New York. He's a driver, mostly modifieds and locals. However, though, this year, he's racing part-time the Arc Menard Series for his own team. Has 2 top 10 finishes this season, both at Daytona and Talladega. Had a great conversation with him as he's racing at Charlotte this weekend, this Saturday night in the ARCA race. And also check my column out on raceproweekly.com. Mostly Western New York racing, local racing, stuff like that. A lot of fun to do that. So yeah, make sure you check all that stuff out.
Did you make your pick, Henry, or did I just miss that?
He
Which
went with
pick?
Larson too, I think.
Your Coke 600 pick.
Yeah, I'm leaning Larson right now, but again, you know me. I got to go dig into more stats, and I'll probably come up with a different value play in the article, but maybe not because 5-1 is not bad for the way he's looked at these mile and a halves. I'll take that.
Now I will refrain from making my Coke 600 pick until Sunday. I'll make my pick just like I make my 8,500 pick. I'll do all 1,100 miles Sunday. Just come watch the show. We need the views because your boy likes the views. He wants to be popular.
Oh, I like more money, so yeah. Come watch and distract him in the comments so he forgets the race starts. And he has to Venmo me. That's perfect.
I will not let him stop the damn stream until after I make both my picks.
And that stream's gonna go on for 12 hours.
Yeah, probably. But okay. Is there anything else? Either one of you guys want to add before we sign off here?
Well, I appreciate you guys for having me on. A lot of fun talking with you guys. It's going to be a great weekend of racing overall. I'll be keeping posted on the 600 and the Indy 500 while I'm down in Weed Sport. I'll be checking out everything else when I can.
Yeah. Henry?
Yeah, thank you so much, Marty. It's been a
lot
blast
of fun.
having an extra voice on here, extra opinions to chop things up, what we saw and what we're looking ahead to. And like I said, have fun at Weed Sport because I can't wait to get out there myself and see, the changes and whatnot that they have made.
There.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and this weekend, I mean, it speaks for itself. We already talked about it. Just remember the true meaning and enjoy a whole lot of fun racing. So, wherever you are.
That being said, follow us, subscribe on Apple, subscribe on Spotify, subscribe on iHeartRadio, subscribe wherever the hell else we are. Google Podcasts, Flurry Sports YouTube, Flurry Sports Twitter. Yes, we're out there too right now.
You're on Periscope, so yeah.
Okay, that's it. That's what I meant. There we go. Follow me at DT McAdoo. Follow him at Hangtime Sports. Follow Marty at Marty Czekala. I did it! Damn it!
It's the first and last. It's whatever the name is on there, just with no spaces. Hang on, you know what? If I can edit this out, I will. I don't think I can. So, Marty Czekala, no space.
Yeah, it's his name down there, just with no space. At whatever, and at Burt Rob Racing on Twitter. Don't forget to watch our pre-race show on Sunday. I will make my picks there. I promise you. I will say it in the first 2 minutes if I have to. Just I don't have to pay this asshole money. But
he just called you an asshole.
I'll
he pointed the wrong way.
I put it the wrong way.
You owe me $50 now, Zach.
Damn it! I put it the wrong way. I'm sorry. Damn.
At least he waited till the end of the show to really come at the guest and tell him how he really feels. I'm sorry on behalf
within 2 minutes.
Rubber Racing the show.
Within 2 minutes, I called the wrong name to Zelka, like I told him I was going to do before the show, and I also called him an asshole on accident, but damn it. Okay, and then flurrysports.org, you'll see our Henry and I's article. I'm not going to point anymore, I'm just going to screw it up again, and you'll see our little NASCAR section with now this week, our IndyCar stuff, but as for us, I'm going to bid you guys an adieu. Enjoy this weekend's race. Remember what the Sunday's about. Or Monday, I should say. Not even Sunday. Remember what this weekend's about. Enjoy it. Peace.
Thanks again, Marty. Happy Memorial Day, everyone.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.